Hello, and welcome to our lesson on project evaluation and closure. This segment will cover project closure. The final stage of a project lifecycle is implementation, the stage where the end item or other deliverable is completed and the user takes on responsibility for its operation. Based on the complexity of the project, the implementation might happen in an instant, or sometimes it may take months, requiring user training and acceptance testing. The purpose of user training is to teach the user how to operate, maintain, and service the product or system. At one extreme, training might be a simple instruction booklet. At the other, it might be an extensive, ongoing project with an annual budget of many thousands of dollars. The first step is to determine the training requirements, the type and extent of training required. This will dictate the kind of materials needed: manuals, videos, simulators, personnel to be trained, existing or newly hired personnel, techniques to be used, classroom, independent study, role plays, training schedule, everyone at once in phases or ongoing, and staffing, contractor, user, or subcontracted training personnel. Users should review and approve all training procedures and documents before training begins and provide input afterward to improve the training. The final tests of the end item that happen before or during installation are the user acceptance tests. Based on the results of the tests, the user determines if the system warrants adoption or installation as is, installation pending modifications or adjustments, or complete rejection. User tests differ from tests conducted by the contractor during design and production, and there is the possibility that aspects of the project might fail some of the user tests. The system installation and conversion stage is conducted according to the implementation plan. During conversion, equipment is installed, tested, fine-tuned, and deemed operable to the fulfillment of requirements. Most new projects are, in a sense, designed to substitute other existing systems, so a major implementation issue is the strategy to be used for replacing the old system with the new one, the process of conversion. There are three possible strategies: parallel installation. Both new and old systems are operated in parallel until the new system is sufficiently proven. Pilot operation. The new system is operated in a limited capacity until proven. Then the old system is phased out as the new one is phased in. Cold turkey, or Big Bang. In one fell swoop, the new system is moved in and the old one is moved out. After the new system is installed, the contractor continues to monitor it and performs tests to ensure that the system design is adequate, the system was installed properly, and that it smoothly interfaces with other systems in the user environment. Projects are by definition endeavors of limited duration, and they all come to an end. When this happens, it is the project manager who ensures that all project-related work has been completed and formally closed out by a specified date. At closeout, the project product or deliverable is handed over to the customer. Contracts sometimes provide for a first handover at completion, as well as a second handover after a defects liability period. At the first handover, the customer should ensure that all patent defects that can readily be detected by a person qualified in the field, are identified and reported. After the first handover, the contractor is only liable for rectifying latent defects, those that could not be detected through a reasonable inspection at the first handover. For example, if it is not raining at the time of the first handover, a roof that later leaks would be considered a latent defect. The purpose of the second handover is to afford the customer more time to identify deviations from specifications or substandard workmanship. After the second handover, the contractor is no longer liable for defects, and any retention fees withheld by the customer to ensure compliance are paid to the contractor. As with earlier stages of the project work, the project manager is responsible for planning, scheduling, monitoring, and controlling termination and closeout activities. These responsibilities are planning, scheduling, and monitoring closeout activities. Obtain and approve closure plans from involved functional managers. Prepare and coordinate closure plans and schedules. Plan for the transfer of project team members and resources to other projects. Monitor the completion of all contractual agreements. Monitor the disposition of any surplus materials and project equipment. Final closeout activities. Close out all work orders and approve the completion of all subcontracted work. Notify all departments of project completion. Close the project office and all facilities occupied by the project organization. Close project books. Ensure delivery of project files and records to the responsible managers. Customer acceptance, obligation, and payment activities. Ensure delivery of end items, side items, and customer acceptance of items. Notify the customer when all contractual obligations have been fulfilled. Ensure that all documentation related to customer acceptance as required by the contract has been completed. Expedite any customer activities needed to complete the project. Transmit formal payment and collection of payments. Obtain from customer formal acknowledgement of completion of contractual obligations that release the contractor from further obligation, except warranties and guarantees. Responsibility for the last group of activities, particularly those relating to payment and contractual obligations, is shared with the contract administrator or other person responsible for company-client negotiations and legal contracts. Before the project is considered closed, the customer reviews the results or end item with the contractor to make sure everything is satisfactory. Items still open and in need of attention, and to which the contractor agrees, are recorded on a list, sometimes called a punch list. The items on the list, then, are checked off by the contractor as they are rectified. Delivery, installation, and user acceptance of the main contract end item, hardware, software, or service specified by the project contract, does not necessarily mean that the project is closed. Project completion can be delayed pending delivery of necessary articles, side items, or payment of compensation for failure to meet contractual agreements, tools, instruments, spare parts, reports, drawings, courses of instruction, and user operating and maintenance manuals. Side items should be included in all aspects of project planning and control. The project manager must make certain that the scope of work for side items is well understood, and that qualified personnel are assigned with adequate time to fulfill their requirements. Side items must be looked upon as part of the contracted work, not as afterthoughts or project extensions. To ensure that the project can be closed out on schedule, side items must be given full consideration in the WBS, project schedule, and budget. In many high-cost projects, the contractor receives payment for only a portion of the total project cost, and the remainder is conditional upon the performance of the end item, the contractor's compliance with contractual agreements, or the quality of the working relationship with the contractor. The final payment contingencies are considered post-acceptance issues because they occur after the user has accepted the major end item. If the delivered end item is satisfactory, yet does not perform to the contracted specifications, if it is found defective after a trial period due to design or production inadequacies, or if it is delivered late, the contractor may be responsible for paying negotiated compensation to the user. Contract sign-off might also be contingent upon how well the product functions after installation or delivery. Sometimes the customer or contractor seeks to negotiate aspects of the contract price or completion date after the project is completed. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we will continue discussing project closure. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.